Free audiobook. Egypt, Temptation of the Dream. Voice by Ava from Clipchamp. Chapter 1. Struggling Days in Paris. Paris, the city of lights, love, and dreams. But for him, a young man freshly graduated from university, it was a place of gloom, suffocating costs, and crushed hopes for the future. The bachelor's degree in his hands was little more than a glorified mousepad in a job market oversaturated with candidates in his field. Thousands of graduates swarmed every rare job opening, like tiny fish lost in a vast ocean of competition. No one cared about the mountain of student debt weighing down on him, so heavy it turned even his sleep into a burden. His family lived in a poor rural town in southern France, where winters were bitterly cold and the land was unforgiving. His aging parents had given everything they had, their calloused hands working tirelessly to send him to school, clinging to the fragile hope of a better future. But that future was now trapped in a cramped, rundown attic in overpriced Paris. That attic, the only shelter he could afford, was tiny, with a ceiling so low that sitting upright meant bumping his head. No kitchen, no heating. In winter, the cold bit into his flesh like a blade. The damp air carried the stench of mold, and the scurrying of rats and cockroaches sent an occasional foul odor wafting through the corners. But at least it was cheap. And at this moment, cheap was all that mattered. Cheap was his only means of survival in this city. Finally, luck, or perhaps just a fleeting smirk of fate, granted him a job as a kitchen assistant in a restaurant. Every day, he toiled relentlessly, prepping ingredients, scrubbing floors, hauling out the garbage. The dumpster behind the small alley was the final resting place for everything, the scraps of uneaten food and the remnants of his dreams. The restaurant had strict rules. No food was to be taken out, not even from the trash. Many times, he saw perfectly edible meat and vegetables tossed away, but he never dared to take them, fear of losing his job, fear of being cast out from the only place that kept him afloat in this unforgiving city. Every day night, precisely at midnight, he left the restaurant after finishing work. That was also the time when convenience stores slashed prices on soon-to-expire food, cold spaghetti boxes, rock-hard baguettes. All of it became his dinner. Meager, but enough to fill his stomach and keep his fragile dreams alive. But afloat didn't mean truly living. On those bone-chilling winter nights, as he hauled heavy bags of trash into the alley, he would look up at the Parisian sky, clouded, washed in dim yellow streetlights, and let out a sigh. His future was just as bleak as the night above. His life drifted forward in silence, weighed down by exhaustion. Yet amidst it all, one recurring dream refused to fade. At first, it was just a fleeting whisper in his dream. Go to Egypt. Find the pyramid. Beneath it lies the ancient eye. Press it. The door will open. He jolted awake. Egypt? A pyramid? It was nothing more than a mad dream, wasn't it? And yet, the dream kept coming. Back. Over and over. As if something, or someone, was truly calling him from beyond the veil of reality. At first, he ignored it. Who would abandon their job, no matter how miserable, to chase after a nonsensical vision, especially when buried under a mountain of debt? But over time, the dream stopped feeling like a mere dream. It became a voice, a relentless, insistent whisper that gnawed at his mind, pulling him in, luring him. Finally, after years of scraping by, he had managed to save a little. Not enough to clear his debt, but enough to survive for a few months. When the restaurant refused to grant him leave, he gritted his teeth and kept working. But the dream's call grew louder, more unbearable. And so, with no other choice, he decided to quit. That meager paycheck had barely been enough to survive in this overpriced city anyway. He had made up his mind. He would follow the call. He had no idea what awaited him, but he had to find out. And so, on a warm summer morning, he booked a one-way ticket to Cairo, the heart of Egypt. No plan, no connections, No guarantees. It's only a dream.
Author's commentary for the end of Chapter 1. Author will use Voice AI for author's comment. This chapter is deeply personal of me. It reflects that silent despair many young people face after graduation, when the promise of education collides with the harshness of reality. I wanted to capture the weight of student debt, the invisible pressure of expectations, and the suffocating loneliness of starting life in a city that doesn't seem to care whether you sink or swim. The attic, the mold, the rats, those weren't exaggerations. I based them on real experiences of people I've known, and maybe even a few of my own memories in city. But beyond the struggle, there's a whisper of something bigger, something ancient and mysterious. That's the heart of this story. How even in the darkest moments, a strange spark of purpose can call to us. You or me? Is the dream real, or just an escape from his harsh reality? I'll let you decide. But whatever it is, it's only the beginning. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks for sticking around.